Hi guys, Adam here, and today we're going to play the first of one of two Adam Cadre games, and the reason that I'm playing those is obviously they weren't programmed in ZILF, however, there's a few nifty tricks in these games. The first one's Shrapnel, and the second one is Photopia, and there's a few tricks in here that visually are quite good, but they're actually quite easy to achieve using ZILF, so that's one of the reasons why I'm going to do it. The other reason is just I'm going to play them because I like playing them, so there we go. So the first one is Shrapnel by Adam Cadre, so let's fire it up. West of the White House. You are standing west of a white house with a boarded front door. So obviously this is a throwback to Zork, because that's how Zork tends to start. But interestingly, note that it hasn't gone straight down to the cursor. It's basically just sat waiting for us. So if we press any key, we get an extra line. You blink. Boarded. You came all this way and the door is boarded. So this is supposed to be some sort of a game. That's probably my worst American accent. I probably won't do that again. Is this supposed to be some sort of a game? Yes, it is. So let's examine me. You are Bill Blake, co-founder of Whitman and Blake Dry Goods, one of the leading such outfits in all of Dixie. It was Whitman, your partner, who convinced you to come all the way out here to his estate tonight. He'd been increasingly concerned that there might be trouble. Trouble from whom? God only knows. That mumbling milquetoast has been jumping at shadows lately. I went slightly Cornish there, don't know why. Right, so let's do... for a second I was going to try and open the mailbox, but there isn't one, because this isn't Zork. So, this game, the one thing that bugs me a little bit in this game is the directions of it. It's a little bit like the actual house in Zork. You've kind of got to go south and round and back up. It's a bit weird. Anyway, let's go south. You walk around to the south side of the house. Note again, it's not gone down, so let's press enter. But before you can take more than a few steps, a trio of frenzied attack dogs come bursting out from behind the house and tears you to pieces. You have died. Would you like to restart, restore, save game, or quit? Now, nifty little clever feature or trick that Adam Cadre has put in here. Now, logically, you're going to type restart, right? Because you've just done it. You want to continue with the game. However, check this out. Whatever you type, it doesn't matter. It's going to type the word restart. So if I just hit the space bar, get an R, a few more times, get an ES. So it restarts automatically. And again, that's something that I'm going to show you how to do in ZILF, and it's crazy easy. Okay, we are back west of the house. Three snarling attack dogs fight with one another over the remains of your corpse. That's just a bizarre feature. So basically, you're now staring at your corpse, which is just a little bit weird. So examine corpse. Your corpse is now just so much meat scattered across the grass, but enough of your face remains that you can tell that, yes, it's definitely you the dogs are eating. Dogs? Dogs are ferocious bull and terriers. Exactly the breed you choose if you were selecting guard dogs for your own home. Okay, cool. So let's go south. You walk around the south side of the house. Again, we've got the pause. We get a clear screen, we go back to the top. South of the house, you're standing south of a white house. There's no door here, and all the windows are boarded. However, one window upstairs is unevenly boarded, as opposed to the Zork house, where it's downstairs. And you can see light shining through a crack between the two boards. So if you do examine the light, through the crack, you see an attic. You've got bloody good eyesight. Converted into a girl's bedroom. Betsy Whitman's bedroom, if you're not mistaken, and you know you're not. The same dolls on the dresser, the same splashes of pink, except... Anyway, makes no sense that there would be a lamp burning if the house has been abandoned, especially not in that room. curious. Okay. So, I think, do we go east? Walk around the back of the house. Yeah, see what I mean? East. Right. Behind the house. You're behind the White House, where the husks of the buildings on the estate stand. The stables, carriage houses, outhouse, and, not going to say that, quarters, are all just collapsed heaps of weathered wood now. The house itself stands to the west, the back door slightly ajar. One thing about Adam Cadre is he doesn't pull any punches. If he's going to write something, he writes it, and this is obviously, I mean, this is kind of, you know, this is like the old South Civil War type territory, I guess. So, yeah, he's writing it probably pretty accurately. Okay, the house itself stands to the west, the back door slightly ajar. Enter house. Which do you mean, the White House or the collapsed outbuildings? The White House. When I can spell. White House. You open the back door and step inside. Again, we've got this funky little pause, so we know all's not well. And immediately blown back out the door by a shotgun blast that rips a gaping hole in your chest. You have died. Okay, we've got the options again. And again, if we just type, it doesn't matter, it's going to type restart. Okay, we're back behind the White House. The dogs are still eating the body. Kind of got to go south. Then we're going to go east. Okay, now we can go in. Enter house. And yes, I mean the White House. Damn it, get in. You open the back door and step inside. Inside the house. It is almost too dim inside to see anything, but you can make out enough to tell that there isn't much to see. You're reasonably sure that this was the kitchen at one point. Is that large shape in the corner of the stove? Not that you have much time to dwell on this. The man who shot you before is silhouetted in front of you, wild-eyed and hissing, and still has one blast left in his shotgun. Before you can react, he reflexes onto a tenth of what they used to be. He uses it, jamming the barrel into his mouth and pulling the trigger. You close your eyes just before the blast. After a moment you hear a thump and open them again. A headless corpse lies at your feet. Examine the corpse. Can we get the gun? You can't stand to look at it. You've seen worse, yes, but you just can't. You need a drink in the worst way. Can I take the gun? The object is either not here or does not need to be referred to. Okay. You want? Okay, we can't go up the stairs. Now in the Zork house, I always got the east and the west mixed up. It used to drive me insane, and I constantly press the wrong bloody direction, and end up leaving the house again. So west, I think. You proceed further into the house. This living room, it's just as empty as the kitchen before it. All the furniture's gone, save for a case where Whitman used to store his war memorabilia, now empty and thoroughly smashed. There is also a large, threadbare rug in the centre of the room. Exits lead east and... Wait a minute. This door was boarded shut. Would have taken an hour and created a huge racket to get that doorway clear. But here it is, door wide open. The last light before dusk streaming into the room. This ceased to be remotely amusing. Who the hell opened that goddamn door? Okay, clearly we need to pull the rug, cause basically that's what you do when you see a rug on the floor. You nearly put your back out, but you manage to shove the heavy rug enough to reveal a trapdoor. Open trapdoor. Trapdoor is barred until you unbar it. Take a look inside, but it's too dark to see much of anything. You let it go, it swings shut. Okay. Where are we going? I've lost my bearings again. Exits lead east and west. Let's go west. You step outside. No, I didn't want to step outside. Still not have the gun. West of the house, you're standing in an open field west of White House. Town Carolina, blah, 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 blah. So if I go east, you walk into the house. Okay, here we go. Inside the house. So this is what Whitman was afraid of. The reason he summoned you... Put my teeth in. He summoned you all the way out here. He's afraid of his own brats. 3 of them this time, busy cleaning the table after what seems to have been a small banquet. William Jr., nearing 30 and still a menial bank clerk, Anne, the ugly daughter, 25, still unmarried, and your old friend Johnny, younger now than when he blew his head off, but still twitching like a damn shaker. Good God, what a sorry lot. Where have you been, Junior asked, pouring you a glass of wine. You missed dinner entirely, and we all went to trouble in making you this meal. Shakes his head. But at least there's some wine left, he says, pressing the glass into your hand. Yeah, I think this wine is a bit dodgy, but we're going to clearly have to drink the wine. Boom, yeah. You take a swig of the wine and slump down deep into the easy chair, and after a couple of minutes you start to feel very tired. As your eyes begin to droop, Junior walks up to you, his steps tentative. Father, he says, please try to understand what is happening to you. You start to protest. Do I look like your goddamn father, you imbecile? But stop short. All these resurrections, all the way the house is different every time you turn around. Could you be inhabiting Whitman's body? You try to look at yourself, but you're so damn tired. This isn't about stealing my money, Junior says. You squint. Suddenly there's 2 of them, then 4. This isn't about me at all. Or about Mother, or even Gregory. No, this is about Betsy. Betsy was the last. Clearly we've done something to Betsy. I'm guessing that we don't really want to know what that is, particularly, because I'm guessing it wasn't nice. Junior no doubt has a lengthy harangue memorised for this occasion, but his voice grows quiet in your ears, and soon he's talking to himself. You have died. Don't know why I've started to type restart. Okay, we know we're gonna go. Actually, didn't need to do that, did I? Sorry. Oh, son of a gun, son of a nutcracker. Oh, Wally. You walk back into the house to find 3 Whitman children sitting around a table talking quietly. They don't seem to notice you until you slam the door behind you. Bang. Then in unison, they all look up. Johnny looks at you, then down at your corpse, slumped in the living room chair, then back at you. He screams and runs through the back door out into the yard and the woods beyond. You can hear his inhuman caterwauling, even as the back door slams shut. And again, look, you'll note we've got this little effect where the cursor waits for you to hit enter. Junior faints dead away. Anne, however, seems curiously unaffected. So, there really are 2 of you. Which are you really? Whitman or Blake? Or is that even a meaningful quote? Gone. Question is, do you really want to know? It takes a while to drop the fat info bombs. Chances are your scattered little 19th century brain couldn't begin to comprehend the tale, but it's your call. Want the story? Clearly, yes, I do. And we don't get it. Okay. You're in the dim, empty living room with only a corpse slumped in a chair for company. A rug adorns the centre of the room. And the corpse. The corpse stares as you approach. That's when you realise, this isn't you, it's Whitman. He's not even dead, merely drunk. Goddamn brats, always make such a goddamn racket, he mutters. You don't hear anything, but then you really hear much of anything over the constant roar in your ears. But a moment later, you see what he must be talking about. As the boys, Johnny, Gregory, come tearing into the front room, fighting as always. This time it's not an exchange of blows, just a frantic wrestling match over, what, a toy? Or are they just... pain! You're doubled over, the pain, god damn it. The pain. That kid smacked right into your leg, drove the shrapnel right through half a dozen nerves, like the whole limb was being blown up, open all over again. And you seem to have thrown him across the room, and he hit the wall. That's a load-bearing wall. His head is bleeding, must have hit a wall stud. Jeez, nice. A doctor, Johnny's crying. Gregory needs a doctor. A doctor, Whitman whimpers. He's doubled up next to you, and for a moment you're back in the forest with Union shells going off all around you. Except they're not called doctors in wartime, they're called surgeons. And making noise and thrashing around just means you'll get a bayonet in the gut from some goddamn yank. Oh God, my son, Whitman mules, and you punch him in the face to shut him up. That gets Johnny's attention. Someone has to take control here, and though you can barely see from the pain, Whitman sure as hell isn't up to the task. So there'll be no goddamn doctors. No one is to know about this. You, Johnny, are to take little Gregory down to the basement. If he dies, he dies. That's like out of Rocky 4. If he dies, he dies. If he recovers, he recovers. If he ends up somewhere in between, well, Johnny, that's your responsibility. I'm not cleaning up after some idiot kid. Oh, now Whitman's picking himself up off the floor. See here, he's saying, this is my house, and you aren't going to. Shut your goddamn mouth. This is my house. I built it. You just sat there. Same way you just sit there while your children are running amok. Have to keep calling me over anytime you need to establish a little discipline. That means I make the rules, got it? So clearly this dude... So this is an interesting game, because clearly this dude has got some issues. First of all, he seems to be one and the same person with Whitman. Blake and Whitman are obviously one and the same people. Whether or not it was it happened, but clearly they were in the Civil War. Possibly they got blown up. Possibly they even died, and this is some kind of hallucination. Well, it's not, as we'll see. But yeah, I mean, what it's kind of like an episode of Twilight Zone or just something like that. It's a good. I like playing this. Anyone else want to order me around? How about you? Well, to hell with you too. I don't care what you want. Nobody messes with Bill Blake and nobody orders him around. Not snot-nosed kids, not impotent cripples, not the loving union government, not God the beep almighty. The Grim Reaper has no say over Bill Blake, and neither do you. If your commands and what he wants to do happen to coincide, well, zippity goddamn doodah. And right now he's getting the hell out of here. Outside the house, the dogs are back, still chewing on the corpse. But wait, if the corpse in the easy chair was Whitman alive, then this one... Need a closer look. But the dogs are gone. The dogs are gone, the sun is bouncing around in the sky like a rubber ball. So clear a moment ago. Had a plan in mind, but now... I don't know what to do, where to go. Don't even know who's asking the question. Help, please help. Okay, let's go. Walk around south side of the house. That's a house. Oh God, Bennett. Your corpse lies on the grass. Enter house. Dude, clearly I mean the White House. Okay, back in the kitchen of the house, as empty and desolate as ever. Wait, the staircase intact? How did that happen? Okay, I don't want to go just up the stairs yet. I just want to go... Oh, please don't leave the goddamn house. Thank you. Except you were in that house already. I wanted to go back to the front room. I wanted to pull the rug and go down. Which I know that it bounced me the first time I tried to do that, but there is something down there I wanted to show you, but obviously it's not going to let me do it. So, okay, we got to go up. You climb the stairs. Betsy's room. Okay, this is probably going to get a bit grim. When you get to Betsy's room, you find her sitting on a bed, crying her eyes out. Whitman is sitting next to her. His belt's undone and he's smeared with blood. It wasn't me, he's saying. It was him. He's pointing at you. You look down, you're also covered in blood. Inside the house. You're standing in front of a room with a white house. You know this because you're staring at yourself from across the room. He doesn't see you though. He's looking at someone else. And though you can't see the person's face, it seems to be. Tycho Green, he says. You may remember me from such wars as the American Civil War. I'm betting you've been wondering what's been happening to you. The question is, do you really want to know? It takes a while to drop the fat info bombs, and chances are your scattered little 19th century brain couldn't begin to comprehend a tale, but it's your call. You want the story? Yes, says the man with the face. Then he vanishes. Cool, so that was you earlier disappearing, but we're now in the room, so hopefully we will get the story. Frag, Green mutters. Then he turns around and spots you. Damn it, stop bilocating, he says. Okay, here's the scoop. Alright, here's the scoop. I'm from what you would call the 22nd century. We'd call it something more like Window 2101, 2200. Sphere, geez, yeah. Track ZZ9. But then Reckoning the date got vastly more complicated once time travel was invented. Little fingerwoots, it's about the size of a hockey puck. Have they invented hockey yet? Is that the 19th century or the 20th? I always get those confused. Anyway, you key in your temporal coordinates, blip back to wherever you want to go. Only goes backwards, you escaped. Can't go forward because that's branching. Bifurcation, try bajillionfication. At any moment there's something like 7.6 times 10 to your little subatomic blips that could blip some other way. It's like a tree, you can follow any branch back to the trunk, no decision making necessary, but finding the right branch from the trunk, well, you have to choose wisely. The hockey puck can't choose between the calculation. The hockey puck can't choose because the calculations would take quite literally forever, and it will also melt, and it can't just pick at random because most combinations of subatomic blips lead to the universe spontaneously combusting without so much as a bye-bye, Grandpa loves you. That was a mouthful. Oh, we've moved again. Behind the White House, she's standing behind the White House, Green emerges and taps him on the shoulder. So most people don't bother blipping back in time, he continues, because they can't get back. Me, I met this girlie and I decided that she'd be mine, except that she'd been dead for 200 years and I didn't want to dig her up because, gross. I'm talking about Anne Whitman here. Not too shabby, huh? You've got your Homer, your Bill Shakespeare, your Anne Whitman, and I guess now your yeah, that was wrong. Just between you and me, I think she's overrated. But Anne, now, her literature just struck a chord with me and 11 billion other people. Key, but still. So I decided I'd review some tapes, learn your dialect, blip back, sweep her off her feet, the whole bit. Key, that means she'd never actually get around to writing her books, but no paradoxes here. As soon as you show up in the past and start changing stuff, you get bifurcated off the tree right away and can't hurt the original branch. Unless... Betsy's room. The same dolls on the dresser, same splashes of pink. Betsy's hanging from a noose tied to the crossbeam. Geez, she's 14 forever. Yikes. It doesn't hold back, does he, old Mr. Cadre? Green arrives at the top of the stairs. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself, he says. See, the reason Annie was able to crank out these incredible Southern Gothic novels is because she'd lived this incredible Southern Gothic life. Like, her little brother had his head thumped with all sorts of brain damage, got locked in the basement like a monkey, with another brother assigned to feed him and clean up his... That guy blew his head off. Gee, I wonder why. Oh, and her little sister had been by her father and then hanged himself. He glanced over at Betsy's dangling body, shakes his head. So the leftover kids got together and off Daddykins. Oh yeah, and let's not forget Daddykins himself. He wasn't just some random monster, see, he got tagged by an artillery shell in the war, lived the rest of his life in excruciating pain, and spun off this whole second personality based on some dreadnought thug who actually got fragged by the shell. Alright, so there were two dudes originally. Bill Blake, big old tough guy, but he got blew up. Okay, tough enough to stand the pain that Whitman couldn't, so Whitman spent more and more time as Blake. Even brought him into the business, presented himself as Whitman to the people he needed to kiss up to, and Blake as the people he had to browbeat into submission. Wrote himself 2 different paychecks, deposited them in 2 different banks. Then Blake started showing up at home, and, well, we all know how that turned out. So I blip back in time to when Anne's beginning her literary career. But when she's a freaking super genius, she's also completely psycho. I mean, mental to the point you can't conduct a conversation with her without the whole thing ending in tears, maybe some blood. So no smooches with Anne while she's buried under the bell jar. So back some more, this time to get Pops out the way of the shell so he can actually live a happy Smurfy life with the same parental unit. Except... See, there's one teensy little problem with these hockey pucks. You break them, you've bought it. It's like take a piece of paper and draw a line on it, then from the end of that line, draw a bunch of branches, then from the end of those branches, draw a bunch more. That's time. Now take that tree you've just drawn, put it on a desk, empty your inkwell into it, see what happens when the time machine blows up. When I went back to the war to keep you from getting tagged by the shell, I took a piece of shrapnel right in the old hockey puck, Green says, and when that exploded, this whole timeline got stuck inside the blast zone. Timelines that are enough bifurcations away from us will be just fine, but for us, time is in smithereens, and there's no piecing it back together. From here on out, it's just fragments, past, future, past, all jumbled together. No cause and effect, so choice dissolved. If it's any consolation, I'm stuck here. You're standing west of White House with the waterfront door. you're standing west of White House. You're standing west, you on the front, fragments, you're standing west, fragments, blah 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 blah. Actually, that one final thing is this is what it's doing now. That is something that I don't know how to do in ZILF. So that's a really cool game. I love that. I'm a big fan of most of Adam Cadre's games. That one and Photopia are my two favourites. To be honest, I like them because, and I know they're not games, they're not puzzly games, but to be totally honest, I like them because I can complete them. As much as I like, and this actually applies to all text adventure games really, but as much as I sort of, you know, have a love of the original games from back in the day, be it Infocom, be it British text adventure games, you know, I must admit I struggle with them, with the puzzles, and that's part of the challenge, I realise. But what I like about the games now, like Adam Cadre's game, is you can work your way through it. It's fun to play. Cool. Okay, so that's going to be it for now, guys. So I hope you've enjoyed that. And next time we'll do Photopia. Then when I've done that, I'm going to do a video focusing on ZIL, and we're going to recreate some of the features that we've just seen there. So you can go from, that's all you need to know. You can go from being the next Adam Cadre. Alright guys, take care, speak to you soon. Bye.